Hello, everyone. We've got myself, Bobby, Moss in the top right, and Simon from Football Fan Force at the bottom. So basically, we've got three subjects to talk about today.
Nice.
I am gonna. Does everyone remember what they're talking about? I've got them
No.
on here.
Yeah, I've got the questions here, mate. It's how
Have
far
you?
can Patrick Vieira take Crystal Palace? Will
Yeah.
the board at Man United hold Erik ten Hag back? And is the inexperience around Arteta holding him back?
Right. Which one are we going to start with?
Just the way that you set it up, I imagine. The Crystal Palace question first.
Yeah, let's do the Crystal Palace question.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Well, who wants to start?
Go, Simon.
I'll go for it. I think it's an interesting one. Really, it really depends on his backing. I mean, if he carries on with the recruitment in the summer that he had in the summer, then I think he'll be fine. The likes of Mark Gahey, Michael Elise, Joachim Anderson coming in have been really crucial to the success. But obviously, the most crucial player that they've brought in is the loan signing of Conor Gallagher, and it's whether they can actually sign him on a permanent. The thing is with him, you can see how crucial he is to the way they play, because I honestly think the reason why they lost to Chelsea in the FA Cup is because he wasn't playing. And when you have him in that Palace team, he's such a huge tool for them. So it really depends on if they're able to sign him. Maybe they're not able to, because Chelsea are obviously having their own issues, and they might look at somebody like Conor Gallagher and think we need to keep him. But if Palace can perhaps sign somebody similar to him, then they'll be absolutely fine. But I've been really surprised with Vieira so far. I think there were a few doubts about him with his time at Nice and also his time at New York City. Am I right in saying that, Moss? Yeah. I mean, I was kind of expecting him to struggle in the Premier League. I'm not going to lie, but yeah, he's taken me by surprise, and he's been absolutely fantastic. And you can tell that the players really love him, and they'll give absolutely everything for him. So I mean, it's looking promising so far. I think the big sort of test is that second difficult season that a lot of managers have. And it sort of goes back to my first point, really. If they're able to back him properly in his second season, then I think he'll be fine. But he seems to have found his home at Crystal Palace, and it's great to see that.
Yeah, I was looking into Vieira. Obviously, he didn't have a very good record at other clubs, but now when I was thinking, who can I compare him with? I thought actually probably Wenger, because he's probably had a bit of effect on the way he manages. And I looked at Wenger's early record, and his record as a manager was awful. As at his first club, which I think was Nancy. I might be wrong, but I think it was like he had like a win percentage of 28%.
Yeah,
I was quite shocked by that.
Yeah, the thing on Wenger earlier was he was good in a national team and wasn't going to be good at club, and Vieira was discounted big time. Like, people were, when I was talking the start of the season, Arsenal fans were like, no, he's not good enough, not proven. Now look at him, man, he's beat us and tied us. Go on, Bobby, sorry cutting you off.
No, it's fine. It just shows that records at different clubs and in different environments doesn't really mean much, does it really? Yeah. So what Vieira's done at Palace doesn't have to be compared to how he was at New York City, or what was the club in France? Nice, yeah, Nice. He was in France.
Yeah, now they're doing really good.
But my question about Vieira is Palace right now is their owner situation. Isn't that guy trying to buy Chelsea?
There's a million people trying to buy Chelsea on the discount.
Exactly.
because I've heard that he was part of a group that was trying to buy Chelsea, which obviously means he has to then step down from Crystal Palace automatically.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard. I don't know if you've heard that.
There's so many conglomerates like trying to put together, a Chelsea bid. There's so many and so many rumors. I have no idea who's the front runners at all anymore.
Well, the interesting and the only bit that I would say is different about Crystal Palace this summer, obviously they had a massive outgoing, didn't they, and massive incoming. But they spent £77 million, which is the most they've ever spent in 10 years at the club, which I thought was quite intriguing.
It's quite surprising, actually.
The most they've ever spent in a season in the last decade was £46 million. And this year they spent 77.
It's been well worth it. I mean, they can.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now, some of the people they brought in, they can afford to sell a couple talents, and like what Simon was saying, it can fund what Vieira wants to do the next year or two by selling off a couple this summer. I mean, a lot of people are looking at their players, and the big thing, like Simon said, is Gallagher. Like, he's absolutely been the spine, the goal threat, the goal maker, the playmaker, everything. Like, he's gone 2 levels up with Vieira, it feels like. And now like Chelsea are going to bring him back and start him? Really?
Yeah.
I think Palace has to find a way to buy him, but not get fleeced, and that's trouble.
Do you think they'd have to spend much money this summer to at least keep them moving in the right direction?
Palace, do you mean?
Yeah, Palace.
I mean, 77 million is quite a hefty amount, and with those players that I mentioned before, with Anderson and Gahey and players like that, they've got a pretty decent squad at the moment, because obviously you've got Zaha, Eze as well. You've got some really great talents there. I'm trying to
Ulisse, Edward,
yeah, exactly. I'm trying to figure out where they need to strengthen the most, to be honest. Maybe
I'd say right back.
Right back. The midfield.
They've got Klein and Ward.
They lose Gallagher,
yeah.
But obviously, what they're going to do with Gallagher, are they going to try and keep him? How much is he going to cost if they do try and keep him?
Yeah,
and then obviously goalkeeper as well. Personally,
I call him Galazinho. No, he's played so well.
Yeah,
he's Brazilian.
He's been incredible, hasn't he? But
who's the goalie? It's Gaeta, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think he's about 38, 39, something like that. Yeah, I think he's really old. I'm slightly wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's quite old.
I was going to look that up quickly.
Yeah, you go ahead. Look it up. Say that again, Moss.
There's another goalie playing too. Is it
Hennessy?
Oh, Hennessy.
Oh, is it?
No, Hennessy left. Hennessy left.
Yeah, it's Butland.
One of the free transfers.
So that's
It's Butland, I think.
Gaeta's 35. So he's
okay, so I wasn't far away.
No,
I've got a few.
He's still fairly old. Yeah,
he's got a year or two in him. Yeah.
But it's just
so if they can spend Simon and Bobby what they can sell, I think they're still on the right track. It's just the Gallagher thing's the big red herring.
Well, how much do you think he would cost? Honestly.
Yeah.
I'd say 30, 35. If you're lucky, maybe.
Do you think he's worth less than Neves?
He's as good.
Yeah, that's my theory. He's
yeah. I
mean, just
quickly check how long he's.
And he's English. The English.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of things that puts his price up, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. English tax.
And what is Chelsea's situation like? Are they going to lose a bunch of players and need him to play? They're going to, new ownership, lose players, but sign bigger ones and still bring him back and he's on the bench? Or they're going to, for what they need to lose and want to buy, they need to sell him and make some money? So, it's 3 scenarios there, and it could go any way, and we don't know who the owners will be. So, I think Palace is well set. So, the big money, if they can't buy Gallagher, is they gotta sell a couple and buy another influential midfielder for sure.
Yeah.
I've just seen Gallagher's Chelsea contract expires in 2025. So you're probably right. He's going to be definitely a lot more expensive than Neves.
Yeah.
Probably 50, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
English.
Would they spend that?
But with Vieira, like that's one of my. It is one of my good subjects that I've loved. Is man, how can because at the start of the year, like I said, so many people said, "Oh, he wasn't good in New York." Well, New York FC was not the Red Bulls. It was a brand new team.
Yeah.
And had some Man City backing, but still, he's in a brand new club in a brand new league. For him, and he didn't struggle. He actually made them pretty good. So, and then Nice, I just don't think they were on the same track. And I'm like, why
the
would
whole Nice
we take him if
situation was
everyone's Arteta out? I mean, at the start of the year in those first 3 games, I was like, well, of course Vieira can be good enough for us.
The whole Nice situation is bizarre because he was actually doing all right there, and there was a lot of podcasts I was listening to, and they were absolutely quite shocked and disappointed in the fact that Vieira was sacked there because
I don't think he liked it. I think he was
yeah, exactly. I think it was the relationship between him and the board, but he wasn't. It wasn't doing a terrible job because his first season there, because I think he took over halfway through their season in the first.
He immediately had an impact, didn't he, Simon?
Yeah, that's right. And then I think maybe they were sort of mid-table like they are doing with Crystal Palace right now, and apparently the Nice board just didn't think that was good enough. And yeah, I think I completely agree with you, Moss. I think there was obviously a lot of stuff backstage, and that was perhaps.
I think he's a Premier because he played all his influential time in the Premier League. He's a Premier League coach, like he just is.
Yeah.
How far do you think he could take Crystal Palace though? If the backing was there,
like, look, they're right on Wolves' tail, aren't they?
So that's where you're thinking top 10.
They could be in the top 8, yeah.
I think they can get a cup. I think obviously not this season, but next season, considering they got into the semis.
I would have been cheering for them if they made this final this year.
Yeah, I think everyone would have been.
But didn't you hear what Tom found out? Tom Canton. He said if Crystal Palace won it, we would have to lose one of the European spots in the league.
Okay, so Arsenal fans wouldn't have supported them either.
It would have took away.
Not at the time, because obviously we were on 3-0, 3 defeats at the time, and we hadn't beaten Chelsea. So at the time,
we
it
were
was a bit of
talking.
a worry.
We were talking about that, Bobby. How what it takes away a Europa spot, and that spot becomes whatever that is, Conference League, whatever.
Yeah, it would have been 5th Europa.
But me and you, remember we were talking, and Tariq was too. Make the FA Cup a Champions League. Bring it back to, I don't mind that. If that would have screwed us, whatever. But I mean, in the future, I just think
the FA Cup more prestige.
Cup should be a Champions League. It's your cup proven club, that way. You deserve a Champions League.
Exactly. So how far do you think they can go, Simon? Because Moss has said chasing Wolves. What do you reckon?
This season or just in general?
Let's say if they have another good summer of recruitment, what do you think they could do next season?
I think conference would be. I couldn't with the likes of West Ham, because I think West Ham are being really consistent at the moment. I think they're sort of nailed on. I think Leicester are going to bounce back, whether that be with Rodgers or not. But I think there's going to be too much competition for them to get Europa League. But I think they can definitely manage conference.
See, my only concern, I know we're going to go into a team that we shouldn't be talking about, but West Ham is a team that's aging, isn't it? So for next season, they're going to be a little bit more weak because Dawson's going to be another year older. They've got a very aging backline.
Declan Rice might go as well. That's the thing. I know they definitely want to keep hold of him. They want to do everything in their power to keep hold of him, but I don't think Rice wants to stay. So, if he wants to be gone, then he'll go, I think. So, I think they'll be weakened in that sense as well.
Yeah, so that could be another team down. So they should at least make top 10. Now, how far? Okay, what kind of club do you think Vieira could possibly get to? How much?
There's the obvious one all on our lips, isn't there?
Well, I'm not going to say nothing because Vieira's one of my favourite players. I got to see him so many times at Highbury, and he always put a smile on my face because of the way he played for us. So I'm not going to answer this question, but I'll let you answer this one.
For Vieira, how high a level he can go as a manager. I'm there's so much influx and animosity with the Arteta that if he failed someday, I would love to have Vieira. It's just a club legend that would have the respect of all the, bringing in players, young players, inspiring them. It would be a great effect. But I think someday he's going to be at a bigger club, if not in England, in France or Italy or something.
Yeah. What about you, Simon?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question, but sorry to do the whole politician thing, but I'm going to answer it with another question.
I'm political myself, so it's fine.
But yeah, no, I just wonder, is Vieira... I mean, how does Vieira get the Arsenal job? Is it through... So what position would he need to get with Palace for him to get to Arsenal, is my question.
Keep beating us.
Yeah. But does he have to win a cup? Does he have to get them into Europe, even into the Champions League? I mean, it's possible. If he does get us to the Champions League, I would definitely give him a shout. But it's an interesting one.
Yeah, if he could win a League Cup or an FA Cup or get to a final, get into Conference League, I think bigger clubs will be like, just look at the job this guy's doing. Like, you know, and I think a bit of it is Palace kind of got some decent young talent. They kept Zaha, they kept some of these guys, and they bought in right away to Vieira. Zaha, Guehi, you know, all of them are just, hey, we got some. You can tell they play very confidently, like in his style of trying to dominate midfield. And yeah, big clubs will take a look, but I think he could be at Palace here for a few years, don't you guys?
Yeah, no, I do. I think sort of. Sorry to cut you up there, Bobby, but I just think it might be a bit nationalist of me, but I think the whole sort of French contingent really works in his favour as well, because obviously you've got Zaha. I don't know if he speaks French, but obviously playing for Ivory Coast, you've got that, and then Mateta as well, and you know there's a few sort of Elise, yeah. So there's that sort of French relationship, shall we say, that he has there, and I think that really sort of bodes well. And I think with managers, sometimes you just get like such a good fit. I mean, you look at Marcelo Bielsa, him at Lille was awful. It didn't work out at all. But obviously, then went on to Leeds United, and we all know, okay, it didn't end well, but the passion and the fit that he had, and especially when Leeds were in the Championship, was incredible.
Yeah, he really turned them around. And look at the trajectory of Leeds now. You know, they're struggling this year and had to let him go, but there's some definite handprints, footprints he made on that club, and some of these young guys are going to benefit. I wouldn't mind looking at some of their young guys here in the future at Leeds, like Brandt and just more of them. But, you know, just because of the training they got from Bielsa, he is a world-class manager. It's Premier League's tough, man. It wears you out.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Right, we are going to leave it on that one because we need to move on.
So we're kind of all like Vieira's going to be there, and he is possible.
To be honest, yeah, because I think that is what we've said is pretty much.
He needs to stay there for some years, you know.
Yeah,
I think 2-3 seasons, and I think you know, another bigger club might be sniffing around for him as well, and you know, the likes of Everton, somebody like that. If they stay up, obviously, this season, but yeah,
maybe Italian clubs. He played a bit in Italy too.
Yeah,
we got him from Milan, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to move on to Ten Hag. What was the question again, Simon? Oh, is it the board?
Yeah, will the board at Man United hold Erik Ten Hag back?
So what? Like, I don't know. Like, they're announcing him. I don't. Just to clarify before you would get all stuck in. Like, what is really the situation? He is signing, but it'll start next season. Like, when does he come?
He'll take over in the summer.
Yeah.
So he'll get all his coaches in. I heard there's McLaren. That's not a bad idea, I guess. They've worked together before.
I heard RVP, Robin van Persie, might be joining in the backroom staff as well.
Yeah.
That would be nice and painful for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Once again.
But
I don't know how much you know about the board. Do you all know about the board? The Glazers?
It's a nightmare, is it not?
So do we think that because the board is still going to be the same, is it going to allow Ten Hag to even make a difference?
Well, and that was my other thing, is this Ralph thing was like, is he staying on too, like as a scout or a director?
Oh, okay.
What's that, Simon?
Sorry, Ranić, it will be staying on. He's staying on as director of football, which is strange. It's such a strange thing.
I can't see Ten Hag legging that.
Nah, But he kind of had that at Ajax with Overmars.
So then Ragnak is saying, this is part of my solution, is Ten Hag? Like, is this his recommendation? Like, he was coming to make changes and make the tough decisions, and it doesn't feel like Man U is eating it up, Well, like
I think it. If you believe the papers, I think the two big candidates were Pochettino and Ten Hag. And if I look at that, I would say Rangnick did suggest Ten Hag over Pochettino. Because Pochettino, I think, he's a bit of a name manager. I don't necessarily think he's a great coach. He got quite lucky at Tottenham in the sense that he had Kane and Eriksen and some great players. I know, obviously, I'm going to say that as an
I was trying to enjoy the dig there. I was like, that's quite a good dig.
But I don't know. I just don't think. I don't know. It's interesting, really. That's the key sort of crucial question, really. How's that relationship going to be between Ten Hag and Rangnick? And
then does he stay on?
Rangnick's really strikes me as a really fiery character.
Simon, do you know?
Sorry?
How long did he sign?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question.
They don't have to announce that, maybe.
No.
He is a good scouter. He's a good organizer. You can tell he wants to just talk truth all the time, and maybe directors don't like that too much. But I'm kind of mad because I like Ten Hag. I'm an Ajax guy. Like, I'm red and white. Canada,
me too, mate.
Arsenal.
I would have loved Ten Hag at Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie.
Just what they're about. I went on the tour there. I went on when Arsenal had a preseason tournament in Amsterdam. I went and saw everything, and man, what they're about and how they go about things, it's just the right way in football. And it's unfortunate, the Overmars, because I was always calling Overmars for coming for take out Edu's spot, but
yeah,
I don't know where he'll be at. I think some team signed him, didn't they, in Belgium or France or something?
Yeah, but he's probably not the best or most professional character to have in your backroom staff after what he did.
Oh, and we don't really know the whole stories, but he did sign on somewhere, but yeah, him and Ten Hag were working so good together. And how many revivals of players' careers have they done in the last 5 years? It's amazing. How other teams give up on players, they bring them in, and suddenly they're world class. And I can name a lot of them: Tadic, Haller. There's so many.
Yeah.
Sorry. Carry on.
No, you go, mate. You go.
What I was going to say is, my theory on the United board is they've had better managers than Ten Hag.
Yeah.
Because you've got to say Mourinho is better than Ten Hag.
Yeah.
And you probably got to say Louis van Gaal's better than Ten Hag.
Barcelona ladies, 4-0. Oh my god.
I was at the Champions League.
Yeah, what a weird time to have it on a Friday.
Oh yeah, it is a weird time.
Weird.
But no, LVG didn't do anything much either, and I would definitely rate him as a very, very high manager.
Yeah, he's one of the best there is.
So why is everyone getting excited about Ten Hag now? Because I'm not.
Just what he did with Ajax, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is, Ajax weren't the dominant force
when he first got there.
No, they were actually in trouble because when Peter Bosz was there,
the fans were angry when he came.
Yeah, exactly. Because they had the whole debacle with Nuri. I don't know if you know much about that.
Yeah.
But there was a kid who basically went into a coma during a friendly match, and Ajax would have been on the floor just emotionally. So for Ten Hag to come in and get them competing in the Champions League the way that he did, I give the guy a lot of credit. I actually think he's a great manager. I think the style of football that he gets Ajax playing is fantastic as well. I think it's in a way it's kind of a good fit for United because Ajax are not great defensively, and Man United aren't going to be great defensively, obviously, with the likes of old lankhead Mr. Harry Maguire. So
did Ten Hag play? Was he a player?
Yeah, he would have been. Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, he played for Twente, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
20.
Yeah,
Because that's where he got the relationship with Steve McLaren. So he's worked with Steve McLaren. Yeah, he was the assistant coach when McLaren was there. So
yeah, he had hair back then, so you wouldn't even recognise his photo when he was playing either. Because when I looked at it, I was like, "Who's that?"
So, yeah, that's interesting.
And it was Ten Hag. I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
crikey."
That's interesting, Man U bringing in McLaren. I would say.
Well, he was
maybe
the
good, but
assistant,
I
wasn't
just
he?
think Man U's problem has always been they don't really create that director of football and let them do, like, the boards, like Bobby's saying, the board go in multi directions all the time and get this player and get that, and it's like reactionary. Like, for example, the Ronaldo, it was like, oh, Man City's gonna get him, no way, we gotta do it. And it's like, and with all these managers and whatnot, you gotta have a manager on the pitch. Like, you gotta have the buy-in of the captain, the figureheads. And I think Arteta, it's been Odegaard. With Ten Hag, he gets the Ajax, like, the main guys were all buying in. Vieira got Gallagher, Zaha. If they don't buy in, you don't do so good. And with Man U, they're all over the place. Like, who's captain? Oh, Maguire, does he speak up? Maybe it should be Bruno. Maybe, they signed Ronaldo. It's like there's multiple directions, and the board is like that too. It's similar to the team. Like, there's no true direction, no true figurehead, and Ten Hag, it will come in and settle it and get a plan and stuff. But I just think their main problems, like what Bobby's saying, the directors and the board, and not having a main plan director of football kind of thing. Maybe Ragnick, they start listening to and realize he can turn it around if Ten Hag has a good start. So I don't know.
What is Ragnick's actually role?
Director of football. And I suppose that brings up a good question. What will his relationship be with Ed Woodward? Because Ed Woodward is a big problem for United.
He's not there, is he?
Has he left now then?
Yeah, because it's crikey, what's his name? Someone else.
Woodward was left the start of the year.
Yeah, he's gone now. He left
gone?
in February, I think. What's his name?
Start of the year.
It was someone that was below him, and he's just basically been promoted. I can't think of his name now.
But they need to just swallow the pill like we did. Of, hey, we're doing patchwork, we're going in multi directions, and it's not working. Like, let's start a little bit fresh here, sell some players on, loans come out.
If I replace Ed Woodward's name with the Glazers, like, how's the relationship going to be with Rangnick, Ten Hag, and the Glazers? Are the Glazers going to give them the real backing?
No. That was what some Man U fans were talking the last couple of days, is that this is just naming Ten Hag is to get because there's protests starting again, and it's just to get the fans off of the Glazers, it seems like.
Well, did you know that they've spent in the last decade more than Man City?
Yeah. You were saying that last week. It's unbelievable.
So have they spent the most in the Premier League then? Like, over the last 10 years or whatever?
I would have said so, yeah, because they've been spending like over.
We're 100. Not far off.
We're not as bad, thankfully. We're not as bad, thankfully.
I don't think it's always about how much you spend. I think it's about
where
how
they
you spend it.
Yeah, exactly. And are you making money? Like, that's been our problem on the sales.
I think we are improving.
Man U has done that not too bad, but I mean, the way they kill young players lately, it's like, are they going to get the money they want for some of these guys that want out?
It's really interesting what.
Oh, so carry on, Simon. Sorry,
mate. What Rangnick came out and said after the Liverpool drubbing, that they were about 6 years off the pace. I might be sort of paraphrasing, but it's more or less what he said. And he said they needed about 10 players brought in over the summer. I mean, that kind of overhaul.
Yeah,
in one transfer window.
He's so honest, eh? It's like the board are scared every time he talks.
But if he was to bring in 10 players, I mean, you remember when Spurs sold Bale and they brought in about 12 players. Yeah, I think Eriksen was the only one that really succeeded. I think the bringing in that many players is detrimental to the squad, because
you got to do it over 2-3.
Exactly. I think with you look at Arsenal's recruitment. We brought in 6 last summer, which is quite a lot, but it's not over the mark of having too many players in one go.
Josh.
Yeah, I was joshing. Sorry. Oh, well, thanks, Moss. I know you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Go,
because
buddy.
there's a lot of talk about Paul Mitchell, isn't there? Wasn't
The
he
shampoo guy?
Yeah. Every time I hear the name as well, I think shampoo. But no, isn't he some kind of? Isn't he a director
Paul
of
Mitchell?
football? Hang on, let me give 2 seconds. Paul
But,
Mitchell.
Hi, Josh. By the way,
Josh and his Newcastle, he's pretty pumped. I was giving him the gears that we have the best English Geordie manager in the world for John Herdman, Team Canada.
Yeah, I saw
Eddie
that debate.
Howe,
That was
I told
really
him I was always impressed with Eddie Howe on Bournemouth.
He was sporting director.
He's done a good job. Sporting director who? Paul
yeah,
Mitchell?
he was at Monaco. He's the famous one. I'm surprised you haven't heard of him, Simon. Actually, because I know you like your European football.
Good job.
If you can Google it, because you might once you see his face, you might actually.
Well, he's on the board of Man U now. Well,
I think that's one of the people he wants to try and get into the club. Is Paul Mitchell? He's a sporting director. He's very famous in the footballing world. Even
so
though
what does that mean for Ranić, though?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. That's my concern. Is what's he coming in for?
Too many chefs, it sounds like to me.
That's what I was just gonna say. Too many cooks.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean about their leadership. It's all over. Like who's on the team and on if Ten Hag comes in, Ragnick's around, directors are all in there. Fergie still dips his toes in. It's like, man, you guys have no direction. Like
no. Yeah, they seriously need to streamline. That's one thing I've been quite impressed with Arteta, is when he's come in, he's what he's done with the plans of Arsenal, and it raised a lot of eyebrows at the time. But when he actually got rid of a lot of staff, I think that was actually for the benefit of Arsenal. And that just seems like that's what Man United need to do. They need to streamline, not have all these directors of football. And
do you think Man United are going to go down the line of the social media signing, like Ronaldo was?
Again in the summer,
don't they?
Yeah, definitely. They'll always look to bring in a marquee signing. I mean, who was their sort of marquee signing the summer before? Would it have been, well, Fernandez was brought in January, right?
That's a good point, actually.
Sancho, when they get Alanga.
That's a good point. How did they get? You carry on talking. I'm going to look that up because I can't remember. So long ago.
Yeah, like sometimes, Tottenham, Man U, even us, we went through our 2 years of patchwork. It can go either way. You can rebuild and maybe you get some youth in and maybe we would have been okay. But I think we're much better, like you said, Simon, because we did strip it down eventually, and a whole new nucleus, like you said, with 6 signings and youth movement. Sometimes you got to accept that and not just bring in 2-3 older players in the transfer window and say, hey, let's get 2-3-4 young guys and combine them with our young guys like Arsenal's done. And I think Man U would be better off. Like they got a good little group there of Sancho, Alanga. I don't think Fred's as bad as what they say. I think McCollum is as bad as what they think, Man U fans, but I don't think Fred is.
The previous summer, they signed Van der Beek, Diallo, Telles, Pellistri, Cavani, Chong.
So Cavani then would have been the sort of social
on a free transfer.
But
it's just
a lot of big wage players.
Not much for Man United, though, is it? Let's be honest. They go crazy on that. But I'm going to end the Man United conversation there because the big one is the next one. Oh, we're not even going to talk about Maguire. Oh, jeez, that's painful. Even as we're not even Man United fans, and it's painful. But the Arsenal.
What's that?
We're now going to talk about the Arsenal. Arteta,
our favorite.
Well, not for everybody. I'm going to have to be very honest. Not everyone likes him.
Our club. Yeah.
Most people love him. Some people don't like him. People like me.
You on the fence, Bobby?
It's not. I'm not even on the fence. I support Arsenal Football Club. I didn't want Wenger. I didn't want Emery. I didn't want Rioch when we got him.
You didn't want Wenger? I suppose, imagine Wenger
at the time, because it was this guy from San Jose.
Wenger who, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the Japanese league.
I was like, we're going to get French players. We're going to get all this. I was pumped.
Well, I was more worried.
But I was already pumped because we had Bergkamp.
I think it's because I just ended with George Graham, and that was a beautiful time with George. For me, anyway, I enjoyed George Graham era.
Well, we had Bruce Rioch though, didn't we? In between, less said
about
him.
But he did sign Bergkamp, so
I was over the moon when we had Bergkamp. I mean, he was already
he's
my favorite Dutch player, and then he came
my
to
favorite
Arsenal,
ever player.
and I was like, man, I'm loving life.
Yeah.
And then Wenger came, and I'm like, man, this is just gonna get us some good talent around Europe, around the world. I was pumped for him.
But the reason I wanted to talk about Arteta was I wanted to look at it differently. Instead of looking at Arteta.
Yeah, it should never be an in and out thing. Do you agree? There's so much of that. And then the last 2 days of hearing that with the big podcasters and their thing they got together there, it's like, man, that shouldn't even be the thing, in and out. You shouldn't divide the fans so much like this.
What I wanted to look at was how much have we set up Arteta with a very good coach system, director of football, CEO, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, we haven't. We've put an inexperienced guy who knows nothing about managing a club, because he didn't. He was a number 2 at Man City. And I was thinking to myself, that's a bit harsh. That's a bit hard on him. So I'm not surprised he struggled a little bit, and he has. I have to be honest. He's learning on the job. He shouldn't have to learn on the job. He should be having people around him that's helping him. So I looked into the coaching and I looked into the board of directors. I looked into obviously Vinay. Vinay is money. That's all he is. Vinay is just
he's a bank manager, isn't he?
But then I looked at the board. Have you seen who the board is, Simon? I'll tell you anyway.
David O'Leary a part of it?
I think isn't he an honorary one? Isn't he one of those honorary ones that doesn't really have much to say? No. But one of them was Tim Lewis, and you know who Tim Lewis is?
He's a lawyer, isn't he?
Do you know whose lawyer he is?
You're going to tell me some fancy celebrity, aren't you?
No, he's Stan's lawyer.
Stan?
Kroenke.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's Stan's lawyer. And he's on... Yeah. That's pretty much what I did when I read it. I was like, that doesn't fill me with much confidence.
But when you're not in the country and you're putting your son over there, I don't blame Stan for wanting to have a guy or two on the board that are his guys.
But if I'm going to do that, I'd want someone that knows football.
Yeah, I'd have lawyer. One of the lawyer wordy guy, but I'd have a football guy too that I'd
because
the Americans don't have that. They don't have football guys, He's putting everything on Arteta, and I like you're saying, Bobby, it is tough for him. It's his first main big job, and he's having to do everything. And I think he's got one good coach in Stuvenberg. I don't know about the rest. Like we've talked about it, Bobby, and there's a bunch of Spanish young guys, and who knows? But I just know Kroenke, that's what he wanted is here. I want to give the reins to a young guy that I think's full of energy and promise, has a plan, a way of going about it, and knows football inside out. And I know nothing as an American, Kroenke, and I just want to believe in him like he did with his LA Rams guy. You're in charge of everything. Go for it. Get all the people you want.
But isn't that going to be easier for him at NFL because he knows the sport?
Yeah.
So
he knows it enough.
In soccer,
that's why I think he's got a few of his people and his son over there. Is he wants it to go good? He wants success. He wants to win.
So my question is, why hasn't he given? I don't know, someone. I don't know why David O'Leary was just an honorary. I don't know why we haven't got someone.
Yeah, how much is he involved?
Exactly. Why haven't we got someone like? I'm trying to think of anyone that. Dennis Bergkamp, isn't he someone at Ajax?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like an honorary sort of board member.
Oh, he's not an actual like sporting director or anything like that.
I wouldn't mind him. He's quiet, but
I don't think so.
The connections and the honesty.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't mind him on our board.
See, if it was me and they were sticking with this Arteta idea, I'd go, okay, I'm going to bring a couple of ex-Arsenal people, and I know a lot of people don't like this, but for Arsenal, I think we need it because they know the Arsenal way, and I know that's Tom's channel and all this new stuff, but Arsenal are very different. Oh, hello, Satvik. You're right, mate.
Team India.
Hey, Satvik.
But I just feel that if we had a couple of experienced coaches or someone a bit.
Yeah, we talked about that. Hey, like we love Steve Bold. We loved Pat Rice. Like guys that just live and breathe Arsenal, you know, like.
I know it sounds like a boring way of doing it, but I just feel like we've set up Arteta to fail because I looked at our four coaches because I'm gonna leave Pavon out because he's the goalkeeping coach. But you've got Carlos Cuesta. He's literally 25.
He's the cone layer, like they always say Arteta is.
Miguel Molina. I don't think he's much older. And I'm thinking, I'm getting worried here because where's the experience of football?
Stuvenberg.
Who was the set piece coach that we brought in from City?
Nicholas.
He's pretty good.
Is that Hover?
Yeah,
I don't even know how to say his name.
Hover,
yeah. But
he's been a success, I'd say.
Oh, he's definitely been.
We were one of the worst ever during end of Wenger years and Emery. We were the worst with set pieces and getting scored on them. We're so much better now.
I hear people saying that we're not scoring from them, but that's not his job. His job is to set them up.
We haven't conceded a goal from a corner all season. That's incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But then you look at Albert, or as everyone calls him, AirPod Albert, and Steve Round. And I looked into their experience, and they haven't won much. Steve Round has only won 2 things, and that's with us.
Yeah, I don't know that guy.
He was at Everton with Moyes and at United, and he was at Middlesbrough.
Arteta knew him from Everton.
And he was in the England setup at some point. But Albert, he won the under-17s with the Netherlands. He won an FA Cup with Man United and then the 2 honours with us again. That's not a lot of experience again, and it concerns me.
He's a good guy. He's a good football guy, Stuvenberg.
Is he though?
Yeah.
I believe in him.
He's been around the block a bit, like Stuvenberg, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. As Bobby was saying, let's have a little more on our board, on our coaching staff, maybe scouts. Let's have some ex-Arsenal guys that were around Wenger.
See, for me, Edu shouldn't be there.
Really?
No.
I think Edu's doing a great job, to be honest. I think, the last
January
summer, I think, yeah, but was that Edu's decision? I don't think so. I think there was a collective decision to just say, look, let's hold on for better players in the summer. I think it was a mistake. We should have gone for somebody, and I was so frustrated. You look at all my tweets that I put out after January. I was really, really effed off. But, I can kind of see it from a devil advocate position, and I can see that we perhaps just didn't do it because there wasn't the talent that we deemed good enough to sort of help us out for the rest of the season. There must have been somebody.
I think you're right, Simon.
And I think we just put all of our eggs into the Vlahovic basket and kind of scuffed ourselves up that way. But yeah, we should have done better in January. But I can kind of see the logic behind not signing somebody if it meant that we're going to do a lot better in the summer.
Yeah, that was my thing too. Sorry, Bobby. I think you're dead right, Simon. Is it's frustrating that we didn't bring someone in, just knowing how much he stripped it down. But I just think it was a pre-planned thing that Arteta had enough time with all the club and the squad guys and the backups, like Bobby hates to say. But I think he had enough time, and he's like, okay, let's start stripping this. And that was the plan. That's probably why he went over to Kroenke and saw him in Colorado is, hey, we got this Vlahovic deal. We're trying, but other than that, let's stick with the plan of stripping it down, getting rid of contracts because Aubameyang's hard to replace in a January. So if we don't get this big name, and I don't agree with it. I think we should have got a loan for a Luke de Jong or a Luka Jovic or something, and had in our back pocket a striker we could bring in down the stretch for some goals. Even Murata, like me and Bobby were arguing about, it's like you don't have to sign him long term, just sign him for a rental to get us some goals, you know. And left us a little short, but I just think it was a pre-planned thing. I think you guys might agree is that, hey, we're stripping salaries because we're going to have another big summer.
See, that's great, but with Edu, I think me and you spoke about it a couple of days ago, Moss, about the connections.
Yeah.
Where's his connections? Because you'd think, I think he was at Corinthians for like 10 years, I think, for quite a while anyway. I'm not sure if it was 10 years exactly, but he was at Corinthians for quite a while. I know what I know about director of footballers. They have a very good contact base, don't they, where they can speak to these agents and get all these players. And how many have we signed from Brazil?
Yeah. Where's our South Americans? They do.
Well, exactly. Well, just South Americans in general. But
Martinelli's the only one.
That's the bit that concerns me about Edu is, has he got this fantastic, well, I think they call it the little black book of just agents that they can call up and go, you know, what about this player? What about that player?
And that's what I think is going to happen is we're going to get our 2-3 big signings, but this is the summer for me with Edu. He's got to get some more supplemental, you know, like not like backups, like you don't like me saying, Bobby, but squad players that are going to come through and are kind of the age of all our other guys, you know, 20 to 23 and Brazilians or whatever, South Americans, get some in, as well as the, you know, 2 or 3 big signings we need. But we need that depth if we're going Europa Champions League, you know, next year. We need that depth, and it's going to help us whether we keep Eddie, whether we keep Balogun, whether we keep some of these guys. We need more games in Europe. We need cup games, and yeah, I'm with you, Bobby. Edu, where's the beef, man? Where's some South American signings?
What about you, Si?
I think the combination. Yeah, I think it's a combination in terms of recruitment of that sort of black book approach, like you say, but also a kind of Moneyball statistical approach as well, because you can kind of say that Odegaard, maybe Ben White and Ramsdale were kind of the black book approach, and then, you know, Lokonga and Tavares with that sort of statistical Moneyball approach, sort of bringing them in.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, for the most part, it's worked. You know, we finished 8th last season. I solely and strongly believe we're not going to finish 8th this season. I think we're going to finish 5th or 6th is my guess. And, you know, I'd be happy with that. I know it's slow progress. I'd be ecstatic with 4th or 5th. But, you know, seeing the progress there, I'm happy with that. And I think the fact that Arteta has done as well as he has this season with almost no striker. I mean, the striker situation has been so difficult for him.
Even when we had Uba, he was terrible.
Absolutely. You give him,
we had no striker,
and this is what I'm really interested to see as well. Is he's going to have a striker? That his first ever transfer of a striker.
It's his choice.
Under Arteta.
It's his choice.
It's his choice. So it's going to be
and
really interesting.
Do we know, Bobby and Simon, how much like Edu or Arteta was the one picking players last? I mean, we did great with those 6 guys, but who was it really? Or it's just total combined effort?
For every football club. Yeah, sorry. My opinion for every football club is never down to one guy. I think it's always a collective decision. Always.
Yeah.
Sorry, your connection's going a little bit, Simon. Sorry.
I think it's hard. Like back to what Bobby's saying, like just putting everything on Arteta. Like, look at the crap he went through this year. Like with Aubameyang and Eddie not wanting to sign, and him praising him, and just everything going on, and getting rid of all the contracts, and getting the abuse and the rough start and the COVID. Like he's had to grow in as a manager. It's like it's been 3 years in one season, I swear. And then plus he's got to work on the recruitment. What they do? Like, oh man.
I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask Simon. I'm going to ask you both about this. Do you think Arteta needs to learn how to handle players better?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he's good with our young guys, but obviously
I say definitely.
He bangs heads with people. Sorry,
Simon's still thinking, I think.
Yeah. How's my connection? Is it got a little bit better?
It's still, yeah, I can still see you. It keeps cutting out now and then, so don't worry too much about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's strange. I said definitely as a sort of knee-jerk reaction, but then I thought about it. I think the whole situation with Arteta is he's kind of burning things to the ground and then starting again. So, you know, that's why I think he was happy to get rid of Oba. That's why I think he's happy to let Laka leave in a sense. And, you know, the whole Ozil situation as well. He didn't want those players. I think it's about working with Edu and getting the players that he wants in so that he has them on the right mentality and then they abide by the non-negotiables, as he loves to use. Yeah, and I think once he has that, then he's going to, I think what he wants is to work with players that want to work with him and work with players that are happy to sort of meet his standards. He doesn't want to work with Obers that turn up late for training. And I don't blame him. I'd be peed off with that myself as well. You've got to have people on the right attitude and the right mentality. Otherwise, you know, what's the point?
Okay, well, the Oba one I totally agree with because he wasn't suiting the style of our play and he doesn't work back and doesn't do much of the stuff that Laka does. So that one I was perfectly fine with. Ozil again, same. My one player.
We did play him as a one striker. His touch is terrible. Like he can't do the link up play. Like he did. You're right, Bobby. He didn't fit with Arteta.
But there's one player that has pretty much gone already, and that's Guendouzi. Why do you not think that he could have dealt with that? That one really is gonna knock me for quite a few years because I think we're gonna really
about that.
It's his attitude. It's his attitude again, though. He's just, you know, don't get me wrong. I think he's a fantastic player, Guendouzi. I also think, I just think it's his attitude, mate. I just don't think Arteta like that. He sort of went over the line almost, especially that whole Brighton game where, you know, he was bragging about how much money he earns more than the rest of the Brighton players. And, you know,
it's so immature.
But that's the thing, though, isn't it, Moss? You've just said it. It's immature. So why could Arteta not just?
Unfortunately, he's a type of guy who's got to learn how to grow by having mistakes. It just seems, and there's been multiple guys say they've seen him at, you know, when he was coming up 16, 17, 18, that it's out of control, like narcissist, like teenage behavior, like and just really, really cocky. But yeah, I think he's a great player. And what Bobby's saying is, and we were talking about this, Bobby, is how do you it was immaturity, but how do you not blow the thing up yet put him out on loan and not have this huge, you know, head banging against each other and yet keep it smooth that, hey, we had the opportunity to bring him back or we have an opportunity to sell him for even more. Like it just seems it blew out of proportion for no reason.
See, because
we don't know everything either.
The difficulty I have is, I don't know how old you are, Simon, but I'm old enough to remember the troublemakers that we had in our club many years ago.
Different and a lot more.
Tony Adams, Ian Wright was an absolute pain as well, and no matter what, they always managed to deal with it. And I think with Guendouzi, that's the only one. The Saliba situation is totally different. His life was awful at the time. Bless him, and you know he needed this. And I hope he comes back. And if he doesn't come back, I hope we make a very good profit on him. Because if not, the Arsenal fans are going to go absolutely mad. Because they are going to. He looks amazing. I don't know if you've seen much of him, Simon, but I've watched him.
I've watched a lot this year.
Yeah, no, he's great.
But the Guendouzi one it scares me a bit because I think we've lost a player there.
I think Arteta,
it's a really good
some way. We don't know everything that was said and done, but I think it was just like, I can't have this guy around with these other young lads, you know, piping off and starting fights in practices, in the games. Like, he's on the ref, and unfortunately, he probably has learned from it, and now he's even better for it, and he's really starting to produce Guendouzi. And yeah, we can only make so much, right, out of him, or it was already kind of a set loan to buy.
10 million, isn't it? I think we're making.
Yeah, like, it's a ripoff now. Like, we should be getting way more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's a really good point. It went public. So much of it went public when it just shouldn't have. Like you said, the old days, Bobby, this would have stayed in house. Older players, which we don't have a lot of good influence. We've got teenager Aubameyang, our captain at the time. You know, we have those influences on Guendouzi. Well, of course he freaking, goes off and says things and fights and fighting the maturity and the management and the coaching and the club. But we don't know everything. And I think Arteta's just like, I need this guy out. Like, I just need him out. And unfortunately, it looks like a bad decision. Like, it's hurting the club now.
I think what I guess I would have to say and come to conclusion with Arteta so far is that he's kind of set himself a bit of a standard as being a long-term manager, especially at Arsenal, rather than a short-term. I think that's where the issue is. And I think if he were to be a better short-term manager, because he needs to learn to do that, especially as you're building this long-term project, you've still got to look at the short term, and he's got to look at those seasons in isolation. If he was able to do that, if he was able to get the likes of Guendouzi on board, get the likes of Ozil on board, even looking back at that first season, if he was even Torreira, use him a lot more wisely than he had done, then
I like Torreira.
I think that the seasons would have been a lot more successful for him. But he's clearly just. So, and I think that's why he's so rigid with that 4-3-3, because he looks at the 4-3-3 or that formation, and he's almost so opposed to playing a back three, because he wants the 4-3-3 or the 4-2-1-3, whatever formation you want to call it, going in the future, that he's almost unwilling to sort of go back to that back three formation that did him so well in the FA Cup, because he's so obsessed with the long term.
Yeah. And like Sadvik's saying and Bobby's saying, I think he's trying to get at too, is I'm really hanging my hat on the Saliba thing, because I feel like, like you said, Simon, too, good point on Torreira and Guendouzi. I feel like we burnt bridges that we didn't need to burn. But like you're saying, Simon, he's set a standard now, and he knows what he wants and what are, can't be breaking rules, because he is setting the precedent. We're under 23 team. Like, look at our lineup last match. They're all 23 and under, except El Neni, Xhaka, and Holding. And we're not even thinking those players are our future right now. Like, we're not even thinking they're going to be in our lineup next year. So, to be honest, he's done a great job with the young guys, and they're coming to fruition. But now it's like, Edu and MA get those what they talked about at the start of the year. Now we're going to add pieces this summer that are more mature, ready to go, and just helping our young guys come to even another level.
See, I think when you mentioned Torreira, I think we can't.
If Saliba doesn't come, or something's messed up with that, or we don't get 60 million for it, I'm going to be upset. Yeah.
I think the Torreira one we have to take out, because that was something totally different, wasn't that?
He lost a bunch of his family members.
That
even Mikel Arteta can't sort that out, and that's fine. I have no issues with that. It's a sad because he's a very good player, but it's just.
I love the little.
I just think when Torreira, this was before the whole his mother passing away, which is was horrible.
He wasn't playing him.
Utilized no, exactly. If he had utilized him better, that was my argument really. Before Torreira,
I wanted him to play
for Fiorentina. He could have played him a lot better. He could have utilized him better. It's just my argument.
But we don't know, and I think he was in some depression, big time. Like, just he was saying, weather, losing his family, missing home. He just wasn't loving England one bit.
No, don't blame him.
Uruguayan sun guy.
I think I think the game tomorrow is going to be a huge indication of his
Where we're at.
inexperience or experience, shall we say. Yeah, exactly.
Because who knows what Man U's putting out? Who knows their strategy? Who knows their formation, the players, what's coming out? I mean, Arteta, you got to be ready to roll. And one thing I think, Bobby, you mentioned too, is I don't like his subs a lot of times. And either gets it spot on, super right when we're in the lead, or when we're losing, he seems to get it wrong all the time on the subs.
Before I talk anymore, because I remember you saying, Simon, you've only got an hour. Are you okay to stay for a little bit longer? Or?
I stay for sort of 5-10 minutes, and then I'll have to.
Okay, so what I'll do, I'll quickly ask you this question, so then you can go before I probably ask Moss the same question actually. So I'll get your answer on it first. So the summer's coming up. Okay, now how many players, how much money do you think Arsenal honestly need to spend? Honestly,
I think 6 players. And I think because I've been looking this up. Can I give you my 6 players who I
go for it? Honestly, yeah.
Sure.
I'm a loser. I make these notes on my phone all the time. So, the 6 players. I mean, this has been changing all the time, but I think we need 2 central midfielders. I would go for Yuri Tielemans. I think we can get him for 25 million. Florian Grilic is another one that I'd go for because I think we can get him on a free. He would essentially be my El Neni replacement. As striker, it's going to be so hard because the Napoli owner is an absolute. He's a tyrant.
He's a mafia.
He's going to be.
He's actually mafia.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he said before. He said to players that wanted to move to England. He said like. There's no way you're going to England. I don't know. It was
look at Insigne. He didn't go EPL. There's teams that wanted Insigne. He's not going to Premier League. He's going to Toronto FC.
He doesn't do deals with English. He doesn't do deals with English players for whatever.
Sorry, Sam.
Exactly. But putting that aside, if we could get Victor Osimhen and perhaps offer Nicola Pepe as a sort of transfer swap deal. I know swap deals are very rare and they don't happen a lot, but I think we could get him interested. If not, then I would go for Darwin Núñez or Tammy Abraham, something like that. Winger Cody Gakpo is another one, and then Paulo Dybala. I'd go for him on a free. So that's a total of
that's a lot of striking.
85. What's 85 plus 35?
120.
Yeah,
120 mil. Yeah,
that's about what I'm at.
Is that 6 players? Did you say 6?
I know that's 5 players. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no. I was missing somebody out. Okay, 5 players then.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't want to do any right back at all?
I don't think we need to because I think Cedric he's done a decent job. And we've got Brooke Norton-Cuffy as well, who's actually doing really well.
About him.
I don't know about maybe next season might be a bit too soon, but or maybe have Brooke Norton-Cuffy go out on loan for the first half of the season and then bring him back in at the second half. I'd be more than happy with that. But yeah, I'm not too worried about right back like I was because Cedric is done somewhat okay, and then you've got Tomiyasu who can play left back as well. He can even play centre back. He's so versatile. So when he comes in, put him up front.
I think Bologna, it was amazing how many positions he'd played in a couple seasons.
Right, one more question for you, Simon, before you go.
Yeah.
And obviously shout out your show as well after you've answered this question. What's your expectations for us next year?
Big things.
Minimum Champions League. To qualify for Champions League, and that's it really. It's way too soon for us to be challenging for the title, but at least cementing our place in the Champions League. If we get Champions League this season, then I'd say next season we have to be going all out for the Champions League top 4.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't even say at the start of this season, top 4 was even a target. I would just say top 6 was a target for us at the start of this season, especially the first 3 games. Well, the less said about that, the better. But I honestly, I'm really pleased with where we've ended this season, with where we are right now at this season. It's it's quite a nice surprise.
Brilliant stuff. Right, Simon,
I would go. So just to answer Sapnik, I'd go for Dybala.
Really?
He's free.
Oh, okay.
I wanted Dybala about 3 years. The end of Wenger's reign, I was wanting Dybala so bad, and I just think we'd be buying an older, breaking down version of himself, and he wouldn't handle the Premier League. But Lautaro Martinez he can do anything. I mean, and they're saying we're top of the running for him now, which is surprising to me. I think there'll be a bidding war for him, and there's going to be a bidding war for Nunez.
That's true.
Sorry, Simon, go ahead.
But yeah, shout out your show, Simon. But thank you ever so much for joining. I know you've got a
football fan force, Triple F. Is that how it goes?
Yes, yeah, the football fan force. Yeah, that's right. AKA the Triple F. But yeah, it's a show that's pretty much dedicated to all types of football. I like doing sort of historical. Thanks, man. Yeah, I like doing these sort of club profiles. I've done ones on Celtic and some Japanese team. I can't remember who they are now, which is terrible. But just check it out, and hope you guys all like. And thank you very much, Bobby, for having us on. And it's great seeing you again, Moss. And all the best, guys.
Yeah. Thank you ever so much, Simon. Appreciate it.
Good luck with yours,
man. I'll be on again.
Don't if you ever need an MLS breakdown too, let me know.
Yeah, Moss knows everything.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
But big up, Simon. I'm going to now speak to Moss about the same questions. But yeah, take care, mate.
Good to see you, Simon.
Right. So
before you get on my little drama, what is your where we're gonna finish, what we need to do next year to maintain? Are you saying 100 million, 150 million, or?
Do you know what? Because I've obviously listened to Harry and is it Mike Stavru?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were talking about 110 million. I was thinking, if we only spend that, I'm scared because for me,
it just goes up all the time, doesn't it?
Unless we're being very clever and getting some free transfers in, which normally that starts to feed through already.
I think there'll be one of those at least.
Through. I would if we got like 4 free transfers and then spent the rest of the money on 3 big players, I'd be very happy with that because that's 7 new players.
Yeah, and Kessie, that was a center mid everyone was talking about, and Spurs want too, and he's on a free. He's going to be a free transfer.
The guy from Milan.
Yeah.
Is he going to Barcelona?
But that's what I was going to ask. Is there a set he's going to be on he's going somewhere for sure or not?
I'm pretty sure he's going to Barcelona. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Who knows with the striker shuffling of chairs around Europe?
Everyone's talking about Haaland
and Haaland, and then Mbappe go to Madrid.
Everyone's
There's
saying
going to be shuffle around everywhere.
Yeah. Everyone's saying Haaland's to the City. I don't think that's where he's going. I
think Madrid and Barca are going to push hard for him.
I still don't think it's them. I think it's Munich.
It could be City.
I think it's Munich.
Yeah. If Lewandowski gets a big money deal, goes to Barcelona, I think Munich is going all in on Haaland. They're going all in on him.
Exactly. Because they've got this strange thing, haven't they, where they just keep buying everybody from Dortmund.
Yeah, they've done it to Werder Bremen, Leverkusen,
Oliver Kahn.
All of them. They take their best players.
Genius. Yeah, because Oliver Kahn is a genius when it comes to signing players. I guarantee.
Ruthless. And that's why I want Arsenal is a little more ruthlessness on targets and who we're after and where to spend our wages.
But for this question, I was trying to be fair, but I think it's not just him. I think there's a lot of stuff around him that I think could help him to be a better manager because he's having to do so much where he should maybe just focus in on the coaching.
Yeah.
with a bit of
That's what I
support.
was saying. There's way too much on his shoulders.
Yeah, because this is his third year as a manager.
I would have loved it if we would have kept Wenger on as football director and his protege MA came in to coach. I think they would have worked great together.
Yeah,
but I still would have wanted like, an Adu or someone like that working with Wenger and learning the ropes and taking some of the responsibility and making deals. And
see, the Edu one just doesn't excite me. He just doesn't. He wasn't.
I expected more from him, to be honest.
He wasn't one of the players at Arsenal that I didn't really attach to him.
Yeah,
I didn't like someone
him.
I was like.
He was like El Neni to me when we had mids out.
Yeah.
Then he played.
Yeah, that's basically how it is. It's an El Neni. He wasn't anything fantastic. He had
a bit more skill. He's Brazilian, but
yeah. So when he came in, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't. If it was a Bergkamp or before the situation with Overmars, it was Overmars.
I would have been
like, yes,
super excited. Yeah, me too.
But Edu doesn't excite me, and Mikel Arteta doesn't excite me because.
And then, what would have been Henri's role if he got his way with Spotify? Would he have been director, manager? I can't see him being a manager.
Yeah, well,
even though he's coached a bunch, but
I don't think that conversation is ever going to happen now.
Yeah, it's not happening now. But anyway, you wanted to know what I would spend.
Yeah.
And it's similar. I want Tielemans too. Say it's 25, 30. I want, who I want. David, man.
Oh, is it him? Oh, I forgot his name.
So 45, maybe he's going down with not scoring lately. But I sent out a thing on a report on him, and like you guys and your stats in football, I don't believe it much. But his XG has been he's not getting any chances. He's not happy playing. They don't play his buddy Tim Weah. They don't. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so he's about 45. So that's 60, 70 million. Like you said, one or two nice little free transfers with big wages. Obviously, we got to go. But I'm not sure on who that is or what. If we could get a Lautaro Martinez or what's that other guy I like? Nunez. But I just think they're going to be bidding wars, those two guys. And we're just don't bother because it's going to be wages, fee, everything, age and everything. So if I'm set with Tielemans, Jonathan David, and my other guy's Cody Gakpo, like Tom loves too. I just think he's amazing. He might even cost 30, 35, 40. So I'm at
you're about 110.
Yeah, 110. So that's good for the three big ones that I'm kind of talking about. But then it's like what you said, a couple little free transfers. Maybe you steal a couple from teams going down, Watford or whoever.
Yeah.
You get in there with one or two, not having to spend much. But like you were saying earlier, come on, Adu, show me the money. Like, let's get some squad depth with some South Americans. And you don't have to spend as much as European players. And sometimes you hit the jackpot with one or two of them, and if anything, you're selling them off for a lot more. So mine would end up being, 130 or something because how you get some of those South Americans or Brazilians but let's try to keep the wages down. Let's not go crazy on the free transfers and offer huge wages. Like Holland, that's his contract too. It's up, right? Like after the summer. So it's like everyone's going to be offering them, hey, we'll give you 400,000 a week. We'll give you 500,000 a week.
Yeah, it's that release clause, isn't it, this summer?
Yeah.
So is it 65 million or something?
So if we make Champions League, it changes a little bit of levels of who you're after and who you can offer things to. And I think, if we get Champions League, what the hell? What do we got to lose? Offer Holland some big wage,
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, you can't offer much more free transfer, big wages if you go for one big one like that,
Yeah. What do you expect of us next season, though?
Definitely hold our Champions League place. I was starting to say if we can get, these three, maybe mid-20s experienced players that come in with our youth movement here, it's really going to set us up. It's going to pump them up. They're going to be on board. Whoever comes is obviously going to be on board with Arteta and scrutinized and looked at and whatnot. So it'll finally be totally his team because he'll get to have the striker he's wanted, hopefully. And we got to maintain Champions League. But I was like, if Man City could win this Champions League, like I could see Pep saying, okay, I'm done. I've done the Premier League. I've won it. I've won the Champs League for them. I'm going to move on and back to Barca or Bayern Munich or somewhere in La Liga or Serie A. And I think we could be the ones maybe challenging Liverpool for a title. Not if not next year, the year after that.
So you've already started talking about the next question that I want to talk about on the next show. Actually, is that one about Liverpool? But we'll get into that for the next show. What I would say
could be challenging if we maintain and do what what they've told us, that we're going to add some superstars here in the summer.
Yeah. Well, do you think Arsenal will shock us with how much we spend?
No, I think it'll be a lot of what people are expecting. 90 to 150 mil.
So Nunes is definitely off the list, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a bidding war for him. And he changed agents, everything. He knows this is his big opportunity. And if we don't get Champions League, I think no chance for him. But
there you go. What's your thoughts on Matt Turner?
If we're Europa, we'll still get David. We can still get David. He's a gooner, man. He wants to come. I heard Cody Gakpo too is as well a huge, because of Bear Camp and Overmars and what. He's a huge Arsenal fan too. And then Matt Turner, he hasn't been playing Sadvik for New England. I think he got injured during a USA friendly or a USA
bonus knee.
Yeah. So he's out for a good while, but man, he's better than Stefan, I think, for USA. And he will get better with our coaching on his footwork and play and, see Ramsdale and how he does it. I mean, it'll be interesting when they get together in Florida. I might be going down there, kind of planning go to the Orlando and see them play Orlando and Chelsea and then come over to England. But I think Matt Turner is going to be USA's goalie eventually. And he is a good signing if he comes as our backup. I mean, he's just as good as Leno, I think. And if not, a couple of years we might be able to, sell him for some good money too.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Right.
He's a good shot stopper. He's a lot like kind of like Leno, but a lot stronger, like physically, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
Like Leno got pushed around. That's first game of the year that pissed me off so much. It was a throw-in, and he got pushed around and just gave up.
Yeah.
Remember that against Brentford? I was like, I'm done with this German, man.
Yeah, he's a great shot stopper, but that's about all it is, to be honest.
He doesn't command the box, and that's what Ramsdale, as soon as he came in, I'm like, yes, this is our guy.
Yeah.
Commands that box. He's yelling. He's pumped. He's strong. He doesn't get pushed. But what did you think about that goal he gave up, though, on the weekend? Or what was it? What game was the deflected one? He was kind of already down. And
against Chelsea, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, there's something about him going to that side. Remember, he got scored on by Jota on that side. But I've never seen him get scored on the other side. That's weird.
There's a little bit about him that worries me, but he's a very good goalie. I've always liked him. I wanted him in the first place. So
Seaman gave the okay, and everyone was criticizing us buying Ramsdale. I was like, if Seaman says he's good, I'm going with it, man. He's on.
Yeah. But I'm going to end the show there. Yeah. So, Moss, talk about your show, where you can be found.
Moss Sports Talk for people now and watching later, and always part of Tariq Talks and Bobby's stuff went on. And we do watch-alongs. Bobby does watch-alongs, Europa, EPL, everything, championship even. But, I also do a lot, obviously, of North American sports, MLS Saturdays and this Sunday. I always do an MLS game in the afternoon, so it's for, UK normal time in the evening.
What game is it on Sunday?
Sunday is New York City, Toronto FC, and Saturday, Philly, who Toronto just beat, is playing Montreal's down in Philly. So I'm going to do those two games, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And then we do our usual, and you come on or I come on yours with 8 or the 3 p.m. Saturdays, the 2 p.m. Sundays. I think you're going to do Tottenham. I think Tariq might be. He was on the edge on that one.
Yeah. Well, I've got Brentford, Tottenham, Crystal Palace, Leeds on Monday, and I really struggled about what Europa League game to do next week.
Yeah, so we were
because
talking.
It's really hard for
me and Tariq, and I said I'd tell you, me and you, let's do the Champions Leagues because he's gonna do a reaction show and he'll come on ours. Like he'll come on one or both of ours during Champions League this week, and then you do Europa and I'll come on yours. And isn't there a Thursday big EPL game?
Manchester United versus Chelsea.
I think he might do that one.
Yeah, I've got to do the West Ham game.
Yeah, we got to keep with this Europa.
These
Europa games have been good too. Like
I've enjoyed them, and obviously I've got the Rangers, I've got the Scottish quarter in me, but I have to follow.
I'm excited for it.
I have to follow my West Ham now. So yeah.
Now so Rangers have Leipzig.
Yeah, I keep an eye on it, but yeah.
I think West Ham can do it, but I'm worried about Rangers and Leipzig.
Yeah, it's going to be
Leipzig
a good game.
Looked really good to me.
Yeah, they have. But thank you everyone for tuning in. We are out of here.
Take care. Subscribe to Bobby Walta Sports and Talk. Mod Sports Talk, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you everyone. See you later.